Hey y'all, and welcome to the What a Man podcast. Of course, I am Tanya Show, and tonight sitting with me, I have the one and only Mr. Pudge Rozay. How you doing, Pudge?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
That's definitely good to hear. Number one, I wanted to say to you, congratulations to everything that you have going on right now. Touring with Desi, the podcast, and all the other stuff that you have going on. But before we have our conversation, like I asked all my guests, tell everyone who is Pudge.
Ah, Pudge, just a average dude from Baltimore, the east side of Baltimore. A kid that always loved comedy. Easy going. Just a regular dude.
Okay, Pudge. So, in starting our conversation, like I said, I saw that you are currently on the road with Desi. Y'all are touring. What's that like?
It's dope. It's dope. Being a comedian from Baltimore. You kind of you get stuck in the city sometimes, and it's like all you see is either just what's in the city, maybe DC. Just
Mhm.
stretching out just a little bit, but to actually be on the road, and you actually getting on planes and you flying to these different places, is dope. It's like it's amazing. It make you feel like you taking the next step in this career of doing comedy when you can actually catch a plane to go to work.
So I saw yesterday, I saw a post that you posted with the two skits in
Mm.
comparison. So I wanted to talk about that because that was one of the things that Cat Williams touched on in the Club Shay Shay interview. And I guess to people who really don't do comedy, we look at it as, oh, okay, well, a skit is a skit. Why is that so important in the comedic world?
I mean, first of all, doing comedy is not easy at all. No matter how easy it may look to, from the outside, it look easy, or people feel like they can do it. So when you actually do it and you doing it to a high level, and people, you working hard, you actually trying to be as creative as possible, and for somebody to just come and just take something that you worked hard for or you thought of your own, it's kind of
Mhm.
like your kid. It's like your child. Like when you think of a joke that's funny or a skit that's funny, it's
Mhm.
kind of like your brainchild. So when you take your brainchild and you put it out into the world, and it's receptive by so many people, and they enjoying it, that
Mhm.
give us a little joy to keep doing it. So when you see somebody just come and steal it, it's like it's almost like being robbed, or somebody coming and sticking their hand in your pocket. You just feel violated.
Mhm. So, so when things like that happen, does that tend to like bring down the audience for the person who actually stole it? Or have you seen cases where it's like, ah, well, it is what it is.
I mean, it sometimes it's hard to kind of like really
I'm
like
sorry.
gauge it sometimes, because depending on who it is, or depending on how bad of us, like somebody stole it, like in the case that happened yesterday with
Hmm.
D Young. He's a comedian from Baltimore that do videos and everything. So I'm kind of cool with him. So I talked to him about it, and
Hmm.
the way he expressed it to me, it was like that's kind of like messed up. Like he told him, like, all right, even if you was to just tag my name on it and be like, expired by, or you know shot
Okay.
me out in some type of way, where as though it let people know that, all right, it's not mine, but it's still funny. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So he wouldn't have been tripping about that. Like, it still would have felt some type of way because he did it verbatim, but it would have
Hmm.
eased it a little bit more when you just be like, all right, yeah, inspired by my man D Young, whatever. But to take it and just do it on your own and just like be blatant with it, it's a little different. It's a different type of situation.
I understand. Yes. And since you put it that way, now I get why it's so important to, for those things to be put out there, especially, like you said, you could have just gave me the shout out or whatever. So I feel like that's fair. Um, I, I've had guests on here so far that are from our city, and I've asked them all the same question. So I'm going to ask you, because everybody has a difference of opinion, and of course, I'm from the city as well. And I wanted to ask you because of how the city is now and the state of the city. What do you feel like is the problem now?
As far as what, just the city period,
As
or
far as this, yeah, the city, the youth, how everybody's moving around now, because we all know that this isn't the same Baltimore that maybe you grew up in, I grew up in, so
I feel like with social media, so much stuff done been like glamorized to the point where it's almost like a competition to a degree. And it's
mhm,
like, you see some like how it is in Chicago, and you heard about certain stuff. Oh, Chicago is on the top rank murder rankings and stuff like that. That's how
mhm,
Baltimore is. So Baltimore kind of
mhm,
got like got his own name for the crime and certain stuff. And most people be like, well, let's try to change that. But then when you young and you getting it glamorized, it
mhm,
make you kind of want to live it, like lean more into it. So it's like you got the kids listening to the music, looking at the movies, you looking at social
mhm,
media, everything is right in front of you. So you seeing what people doing in other cities, you taking on their bad habits. And
mhm,
like I just feel like the city is one of them cities where nobody really take accountability for what's in their home or what's right in front of them. Where people don't
mhm,
realize if I do my part and then the next person do their part, that's a big step. Whereas though people allow other people to do stuff and then you
mhm,
don't speak on it, or you know what I'm saying, you allow it,
right.
and then it's like, oh, it just start to add up, and the more it adds up and adds up, you just start pointing fingers. Like people get mad at the mayor for the crime, like he out here committing it.
Right.
Like you can't
Right.
blame me. My job is to just, you know what I'm saying? Like I gotta deal
Right.
with it. But I'm not out here shooting and killing people, but y'all blame me like I'm doing it. So
Mhm,
if you're not
mhm.
going to take accountability for your family members or the people in your circle to do better, or just individuals alone just to do better, it's not gonna get no better.
So, and I would have to absolutely agree, and that's a good way of putting it, because you're right. I have heard that before. I guess when they did put the mayor in place, because he was in a certain age bracket, they had a certain expectation,
Hmm.
and because he's not meeting the expectation, it's like, oh well, he's not doing anything. But I agree, it's only so much he can do as one person. I wanted to ask, because I know that you are a father. And if your career took you in heights of leaving, would you, or how much thought would you give it, or would it be no thought at all?
Uh, I mean, I be thinking about it all the time, but it's still one of them. It's a hard pill to swallow to really be away like that. Cause
Hmm.
I'm just I'm such a homebody. Like I just love
Hmm.
everything home wise.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Like I don't mind leaving, but I can't leave for too long. Like I just like
Okay.
I don't know. It's in me.
So, what made you decide that you wanted to be a comedian?
Uh, I mean, actually, like it's funny because, like people always would say I was funny. I got a great
Hmm.
sense of humor and all that. That would be cool, and I always enjoyed comedy. But it wasn't until like I didn't really like do comedy until I was in like a bad place in my life. Like one day I was like I had lost my job. I had lost my
Hmm.
car. I had caught the bus from like I was staying out Cherry Hill, and I had caught the bus from like East Baltimore all the way to Cherry Hill, and I had left my key back at my sister's house where I was coming from. So I felt like I just felt at my lowest. Like I felt like I couldn't. I felt homeless because I couldn't get in the house. I ain't had no
Okay.
car. My phone wasn't on. I just was down bad. So I was like, man, all right, let me just use something. Let me lose what I got to try to get. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Make
Hmm.
something of what I do have. Like I got sense of humor. people always think I'm funny. Let me try to make something of this. And I reached out. I went online. I looked up Baltimore comedy. Just trying to figure out how to do it. They had a competition down at the Comedy
Mhm.
Factory called the Rising Star, and I just was like, all right, I'm gonna sign
Okay.
up for this. And I signed up for it, and like I forgot about it. And then like a few months later, they hit me back like, "Hey, you still interested in doing it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I
Mhm.
went, I did the show, and like that first time getting on stage was like it was like a high, because it was like the first time I'm making people laugh on purpose, and I don't know none of these people, so it's
Mhm.
like it's different when you're around your friends, and you everybody just laughing, having a good time. But to me, always idolizing comics doing it on stage, to me actually getting on stage and doing it, like to be
Mhm.
honest, my first time doing comedy, I thought it was a setup. I thought people was just supposed to laugh. Cause
Mhm.
I'm like,
Mhm.
when you watch it comedy, like you always just seeing them saying stuff funny and everybody laughing. So when I got
Mhm.
on stage, I was just being funny. People was laughing. I just thought, all right, this easy. Like this, like what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna say the joke, they
Mhm.
gonna laugh. I wasn't even
Mhm.
taking into consideration that I was just being that funny. I just thought like, oh, they know how this works.
Mhm.
I say the joke, they laugh, and then the just having people come up to me at the end of the show saying that I didn't know, white people. White guy came up to me. He was like, "My wife loves you." Like I've never had nobody just I don't know be like my wife. Like, come on, that's not normal. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
the guy at McDonald's never get complimented like that. Like they never go in there and be like, "Yo, who was on fries?" Oh my God. I love you. I love your way you put the salt on the front. Like, so to do comedy and to get
Mhm.
that instant gratification from people, I was just hooked.
So has there ever been a period of time when you performed and you said you tell the joke, they laugh. Was
Right.
there ever a time that you told the joke but they didn't laugh?
Plenty of times.
Mhm.
Plenty of times. I didn't post it. I didn't post it times where I've tried new material and I'm like, all right, me and Desi on the road, we going places. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna try this joke, or I'm gonna do this, and then you actually go and do it, and it don't go well. And
Mhm. Mhm.
then like I always been kind of like spoiled because I've done pretty well, doing comedy. So like you get used to people laughing, so you like, all right, I
Mhm.
got it, I got the hang of it. So
Mhm.
when you trying new stuff, it's never guaranteed that it's gonna work. So when I would do stuff and it didn't work, I was just like shell shocked, like, oh my God, y'all not laughing, like y'all don't know, y'all not doing y'all job. Like y'all job is to laugh, what y'all doing, but the
Did
longer you
did
do it,
uh-huh. I'm sorry, go ahead. Go
no, no,
ahead.
the longer you do it, you start to kind of get the hang of
Mhm.
when they don't laugh and when they do laugh and all that type of stuff.
So the times that they didn't laugh, was it ever discouraging or did it just make you say, okay, well, that's not my lane. Let me try something
Yeah,
else?
it like it was just more or less like, all right, I get it. No, Kobe never hit every shot. Jordan
Mhm.
never hit every shot, but they could still consider this great. So I understood that everything's not going to work, and I understand that the things that did work out, even though I was saying them over at different places, I know they work. So I know like, all right, that work, that don't work. I just
Mhm.
either I gotta fix this or just never say that again. So
So how did you end up linking with Desi?
just the Baltimore scene itself, like
Okay.
you just going to different shows, you keep seeing the same comics, you
Mhm.
start building a rapport, and it's funny because uh for us to start going on the road, Desi had already started doing the New Jersey Drive situation. He was going to New
Okay.
Jersey on a concert, so I think he did like he'd already did one show, and then I reached out to him on the second show, like, yo, like let me ride up with you. Like I don't want to
Mhm.
get on, I just want to ride up because when you're around other comics on the road, it's a different feeling. Like to be around people like
Mhm.
minded like yourself. So I
Mhm.
told him, I said, yo, let me ride up to Jersey with you. I don't want to get on. I ain't gotta get on or nothing. I just want to talk comedy on the way up there and just be around other comics.
Mhm.
That's like, all right, bet. I came up there. he wound up putting me on the show. Like, yeah, go ahead, get some time. And we just stuck with each other. Like, next show, he was like, yo, we in DC.
Mhm.
Pull up.
Mhm.
All right. Pull up to DC. And then we just kept it going. And we've been rocking ever since.
And that's what's up. Because he definitely spoke highly of you when we had our episode. Also, I wanted to know, like, since going on the road with Desi, I'm pretty sure you've been around Desi, Jess, and other comedians. What are some of the key things that you? Because I'm pretty sure you've taken away something from a piece of all of a piece of them from to incorporate in your own career. So, what's the most important thing that you would think that you learned while being around these people?
You gotta stay consistent and remember that everybody's human and treating everybody humanly is the
Hmm.
most important thing. Like, and I understand that like comedy is also a business. So
Hmm.
comedy sometimes like the comedy like being funny, that's like 10% of the 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 business. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
it's easy, that come easy to us. But
Hmm.
the business part of being able to like go to different places and networking with people and and it's a small knit community where as though people talk. So the way you treat people is the way
Hmm.
they're gonna perceive you when you go places. So when when we go to different comedy clubs, you make sure you take care of the waiter staff, you tip sometimes, just
Hmm.
be mindful that people at work and the
Right.
same way you at work, other people at work, and I feel like that's one of the most important parts because now when if we go to Miami, we go to the improv in Miami and we working around the staff there knows us now. Like, all right, they look out when we come through.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
they talk to other places. So other comedy clubs talk to other comedy clubs like, yeah, we like when they come through. They
Hmm.
respectful. They you know what I'm saying, they know how to handle
Right.
themselves. And that's what gets you further along. The funny part is one thing, but being able to be professional and handle yourself
Hmm.
a certain type of way, especially when you come from Baltimore, they automatically be thinking like, oh, they about to be rowdy. Look, you even look. Listen, I said
Yeah.
Baltimore. That's something. That's another thing I learned.
Hmm.
Being on the road, sometimes you gotta kind of like change the way we talk a little bit because of our accent. I
Right.
would have been like, yeah, coming from Baltimore, it sounds, it sounds regular to us, but
Hmm.
be on
Hmm.
stage and I didn't seen it where I didn't made the mistake of just talking like I'm home, and I'm like, yeah, we in Baltimore. They be like, what? So now I be catching myself. I be like, yeah, in Baltimore. I gotta pronounce
Hmm.
all my letters and stuff. Just little stuff like that you just pick up.
Yeah. So on this journey, how supportive were the people around you, i.e., your friends, your family, you know, and even your kids, because they have an impact on what you do
Yeah.
sometimes as well. So how much support did you receive?
I mean, to be honest, like comedy is like the only thing I really stuck with, and I tell people this all the time. Like,
Hmm.
I done had almost a million jobs. I'd have been a trash man. I done worked at the
Hmm.
cleaners. I done worked at Sears. Like, I done work. I done, you know what I'm saying. I done had so many different jobs, but
Hmm.
comedy was the only thing that I've actually stuck with. That no matter how low it got or how high it got, I stuck with it.
Hmm.
So my family knowing that what type of person I am, to see me actually stick with something that and not only that they know that I'm pretty good at it. It makes it a lot easier. Like if I was just a struggling rapper or something, and they like, oh, you trash. You know what I'm saying? It's a little harder. It's a little harder to put that battery in somebody's back when you know they garbage. But when you
Hmm.
somebody that they look and be like, oh, you got talent. You got the talent.
Hmm.
It's a little bit more easy to support. Like, well, we know it's gonna be a little hard. We know it's gonna be hard times. So they like, all right, we got you. We rocking with you.
So let's go back a few years. I when you first started, you was doing some skits with some people. One of them in particular, but I cannot remember his name, and that's my fault. But
Pudge.
uh, yes, he's one of them. But the one that I wanted to talk about was G. Rest in peace, G. So in losing G, how did that affect you moving forward?
Man, that hit me kind of hard because for G Songs to even reach out to me, like the people that was in the city that knew what was going on at that time, like
Mm-hmm.
when I was kind of like doing the skits with the funny team,
Mm-hmm.
it was dope because I was still trying to figure my way through this comedy situation in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And G always been popular. He's he always played basketball, been known for playing basketball. He's
Mm-hmm.
always been known for being funny. So when he reached out to me, he was like, "Yo, I'm putting a group together of just a whole bunch of funny dudes, and we gonna rock out, and we gonna do skits, and we gonna do all type of comedy." I'm like, I was honored that he reached out to me because at the time, I ain't have no type of name. People ain't know who I was for real. Not
Mm-hmm.
not in
Mm-hmm.
not in the comedy sense anyway.
Right.
So for him to reach out to me and be like, "Yo, I want you to be a part of it," he like, "We gonna be the funny team. Like, we not gonna be the G Songs and guys. We gonna be the
Okay.
funny team. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be their own man, their own individual. We gonna we
Mm-hmm.
gonna push everybody to be in the front." And I was like, that was dope. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, I'm with it. So for him to even pull me along and we be doing videos and skits and things like that, like he gonna always play a big part in my career that I could never take away because, like, to be honest, he helped me get some type of name in the city. Because a lot of people at that time we was like rock stars a little bit. Like I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't prepared for because I'm like we used to have the Tilt the Pig and people would just come out just to be there. Like we wasn't even doing nothing. We were just there, and people
Mm-hmm.
would just want to come out. And I'm like I was amazed by it. So for G to lose his life the way he did, to the city, a city that loved him, like it's not like he was hated in the city.
Right. Right.
It kind of scared me a little bit because I was like to if they would kill G songs, I ain't exempt.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that it went down the way it went down or whatever, him losing his life like that, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of like it shook me a little bit because you don't expect the most popular person in the city that always makes everybody laugh to be murdered.
Right. Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't like he lost his life from health reasons or whatever. To be murdered is something
Mm-hmm.
totally different. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that really shook me a little bit.
And I've been over the summer, even though so I moved, but even though I still keep up with all things Baltimore because regardless of what, that's always going to be where I'm from. And I've seen for the past couple of months now that that's been a running theme. Like we've lost some of the people who are actually out putting the city on.
Hmm.
Some of them I knew, some of them I did not. The main one just recently, President Davo, rest in
Yeah.
peace to him. Um, how does that make you feel? Does that make you feel like, okay, I want to do this, but I don't want to be too big because I don't want that to be my situation? Or, how does that affect or if it even affects your growth and what you're trying to do?
I mean, it affects me because I see it, but at the same time, I know how I move. I move like I don't even go out that much. Like if I'm not going to a comedy show
Mhm.
or open mic or something like that, I'm more of a homebody nowadays. Like I used to be out in the street ripping and running, but you get older, you got kids, things,
Mhm.
you prioritize things a little differently. So, but it still scared me because I'm like, these people were people that everybody looked up to. Like these people always put the city on their back wherever they go. They let you
Mhm.
know where they from, and
Mhm.
they were accessible in the city.
Right.
That's how they wind up, losing their life because they was in the city. So it's
Mhm.
one of them things that always stick in the back of my mind. But when you from Baltimore, it's like it got a hold on you. Like no matter how bad it get, you still like you. It's one of them. It's like one of them family members where you could talk bad about them, but I don't want nobody else talking bad about them. So it's like
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
though I know it's a tough city, and at the same time, I also know it's not just in Baltimore that things like this happen. So it's like
Right. Right.
it's unfortunately, but you can't run from it sometimes.
Right. And like you said, it's It's not only Baltimore. It's in Atlanta as well. I've been seeing it a lot here in certain areas, just like in Baltimore, it's in certain areas. Why do you feel like though that we are so highlighted for that? Because I've never met a person who, especially like I said, being down here in Atlanta, the first thing that people know us for is
The wire.
either the accents or the wire. So why isn't it that why do you feel like we can't when we meet somebody they can't say, "Oh, you from Baltimore? They got the best crab cakes." You know what I'm saying? So why do you feel like that reputation is on us and it's on us?
I mean, I feel like the accent type situation, it's a unique type of thing because
Mhm.
we always had this accent the same
Mhm.
way people in New York always got an accent. And we, it was like intriguing, like, oh, you could tell that person from New York. Or
Mhm.
you hear somebody from the South and you can really tell that,
Right.
they from the South. I feel like Baltimore kind of like, we carved a niche because we really small in the
Mhm.
bigger scheme of things. Like we still a small place, but
Mhm.
we hold ourselves to a standard of like we a big city. You know what I'm saying? Like you would think that we was like a Chicago or New York or something like that, but
Mhm.
we small. And I feel
Mhm.
like as far as like us being known for like the wire and stuff like that, it's almost like whatever the biggest thing that popped at the time, it's kind of what you got to live up to. And the
Mhm.
fact that the
Mhm.
wire was such a great show, and it mirrored so much stuff that was actually going on in the city,
Right, right.
it's kind
Mhm.
of hard to turn it off. Like it's like, it's the same way you see New York and you got a mindset of New York. No matter how, depending on what part of New York you're in, it's a nice place.
Right.
But we watch so many movies of New York, or if you go to California, you see so much the imagery of California a certain way. You look at it that way, and that's how
Mhm.
Baltimore kind of got that light shined on us was
Mhm.
from the wire. So it's like this gonna be y'all forever.
Right, right. So do you think that's a good or bad thing? Like how do you see that?
I mean, I always take it as a good thing because anytime somebody's watching you, it's always a good thing because at the end
Mhm.
of the day, you still got people like Jess Hilarious, where as though she's from the heart of the city, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
and she rep the city wherever we go. You got guys like Desi, heart of the city, he reps the city
Mhm.
wherever you go. So when you see people like that, you kind of still be able to let them, you let the world into the fact that, you know, it's still some good in the city. You
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right.
Every like I always say, like people forget about the wire and they look and they be like, yeah, Omar was robbing people and killing people. And I tell people, if you look at the wire, it's people that was getting robbed.
Mhm.
They wasn't the bad guy. They wasn't the bad guy in the show. It
Right,
was regular people in the show too. Like you got to
right.
think about them. So it's just like any other city. Like you gonna have a guy that everybody praise for whatever they do, but it's other characters going on in this the big scheme of things.
Mhm. So I wanted to touch on something really quickly, and it's funny. And I've only seen two videos, but I've seen two videos with your mom, and I love your mother. I love your mother. I'm just gonna tell you that. Um, would she be interested in doing some stuff with you? And how do you think that would work out?
It only works that well because it's naturally and it's not on purpose. Like everything everything that I do to her, she like it's never like a plan, like, so if we
Mhm.
got to plan it, it ain't gonna be the same. But
Okay.
she my rock though. Like she always there to, keep me on point, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's funny because before I started doing comedy, like nobody in my family thought I was funny. They just always thought I was doing too much.
Mhm.
But then the moment I actually start doing stand up and they seeing me, making things of it, now
Mhm.
everything I do is hilarious. So she beforehand, she probably would have been a lot madder at the videos that I do or the things I say, but now that she know that I'm a comic, I kind of get a little pass. Like I get to cuss in front of her sometimes.
Mhm. Mhm.
None of my other siblings can do that because they know I'm a comic, so I kind of get a pass. So yeah,
My
that's my girl though.
my favorite is the booty lifter. video.
Yeah. Oh man.
She was excited about the booty lifter until she realized that you was recording.
Important, yeah. The only problem I gotta get her to stop saying my name
I
in the
know.
videos. Cause that's like everybody else in the world, I tell them my name Pudge. I don't care. Like you call me
Mm-hmm.
Pudge. But my
Mm-hmm.
mother is the only person that get to call me Devin. So when she said, I'd be like, stop saying my name because I'm about to post this. And she'd be like, well, I'm gonna keep saying it if you want to keep posting. It's a gift and a curse.
So, congratulations on the co-worker homie podcast.
Appreciate it.
And when like I said, when I had a conversation with Desi, he said that you were very instrumental in putting that together. Why was that something that you was pushing for him to do?
Cause I listen, I just love podcasts myself. Like I always wanted to do it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of them type guys. I get on YouTube and my whole algorithm is just all podcasts. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like
Mm-hmm.
it was a no brainer for it. I'm like me, Chat, and Desi. We hit the road all the time. We got a little Marco Polo. We just talk junk
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And I'm like, yo, we doing what I see other people doing, and they getting
Mm-hmm.
paid. They getting paid big money to do this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why don't we just do this? And
Mm-hmm.
Desi wasn't with it at first because I guess his algorithm of podcasts was just a whole bunch of 50-50 men and you gotta be a Nubian queen and all that type of stuff. Like all them type of videos must have been the only podcast videos he seen. So
Mm-hmm.
Desi was like, nah, yo, I don't like podcasts. I'm like, yo, a podcast is whatever you make it to be. Like it's what you into and what you feel like. Whatever you
Absolutely.
into,
Yep.
it's an audience for people that's into the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So just
Mm-hmm.
give them what you into. So it's you being yourself, and we can go. And he was like, all right, yo, let's just do it. And we just
Yeah. Because we did touch on that conversation, and I was going to ask you that next because he's got that little video where he says take the mics away.
yeah
And I agree. And I told him as well, I'm tired of, like you said, 50-50 men, or who's supposed to pay the bills, or
yeah.
so in regards to that, and besides that, what are some of the other things that you feel like you're tired of seeing on podcasts?
Oh man. Oh, I hate the trendy stuff. Like I like to see podcasts where I just want to hear their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Like regardless of whatever, either I like it or I don't like it. I just enjoy other people's point of view because I feel like I got my own point of view, and I just
Right.
want to. Sometimes I want to mirror up to what somebody else got to say. So
Mm-hmm.
it's one of them situations. I hate when them podcasts where everybody just agreeing with each other and everybody just a whole bunch of yes men. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you like basketball? I like basketball. All right, you like all right. Like, no, I want to hear how you really feel. Like,
Right.
if you don't agree with them, let them know and give me and make it interesting when you don't agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see a podcast and you just arguing just to argue either. Like I wanted to make sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
and it'd be a lot of them type podcasts where you kind of get in a rut of people just agreeing or people just going with the trends. I want to hear how you feel. Give me questions that you would think of, not what you think everybody else want to hear.
Mm-hmm. So, and also still in regards to that, we talked about reality TV as well, and we was just talking about how it's just like it's so much negativity and people seem to thrive off of that. Why do you feel like, and it's crazy because people are thriving off of negativity, but yet they're so sensitive.
Hmm.
So you can't say certain things, or you can't, like, and it's really hard to express yourself because then you gotta watch what terms you're using, or and just recently it's been all over the internet, the whole big back
Yeah.
situation, stuff like that. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, how does those kind of things have a effect on how you perform?
Me personally, no, I don't, because at the end of the day, I only say that because the style of comic I am.
Mhm.
I don't really touch on that much stuff anyway like that. Whereas though I don't really dig deep into like trying to get a shot factor off of other people's situations or nothing like that.
Mhm.
So I'm
Mhm.
really like my comedy is more like about me, my point of view, like what I
Mhm.
find funny about myself or something I might feel like everybody might relate to or
Mhm.
things that people be thinking but don't say type stuff sometimes. So I kind of like I don't really touch on that type of stuff. So it's a little bit harder for me to really be like, yeah, I don't do this or I do this because
Right.
at the same time, if it's funny, I don't care. Like that's the whole purpose of you saying it to be funny.
Mhm.
If it's
Mhm.
not funny, then you got to understand the repercussions that come with it. So I
Mhm.
feel like anybody that decides to dig in that bag or go in that realm of what people might consider as being touchy, you gotta
Mhm.
understand it's a gamble. So
Right.
if you
Right.
if it's not gonna be funny, you gotta understand the backlash gonna come, and you just keep it moving.
So how did we get here? Because back in the day when Richard Pryor was doing comedy, Eddie Murphy was doing comedy, and he talked about certain things, or they talked about certain things, and they used certain terms that were offensive and derogatory, but we thought it was funny.
Hmm.
But then we fast forward to now, and people are using the same terms, and then now it's let's cancel. So how did we get here?
I feel like me personally, I feel like it's the mob mentality. Whereas though, like even you might see this sometimes on comments, like whatever the video is or whatever the case may be, if
Mhm.
majority of the video of comments is negative, that's the energy we going with. If
Mhm.
it's positive, all right, everybody gonna rock with the positive. I just feel like people thrive off of going the opposite way sometimes. So
Mhm.
it's like, all right, when growing up, if you call somebody gay or whatever a certain type of way, it didn't affect them. It didn't make or break anybody.
Right.
I feel like now people either go with the mob mentality of if everybody's saying it's a problem, now it's a problem. No, it's not because a lot of times the people that's what I'm saying, like a gay, like you might call a gay person a gay slur or whatever.
Mhm.
A lot of times the gay people don't be offended by it. It be
Mhm.
everybody else that makes it a bigger thing. Whereas though it's like, oh, you can't use that. Like, how you know?
How do you feel about the way that they shine the light on men? So, and when I say that, I'm saying that I started this podcast to highlight men that are doing good things because often we always hear about what y'all don't do or what you need to do or what you should do or how why do you feel like there's always and I'm not saying this all the time, but why is there such a negative, depiction of men all the time?
Um, I don't know. Like I feel like it's one of them the mob mentality sometimes. Like when you like we get kind of caught up in the stereotype of men. So
Mhm.
it's like we and especially sometimes it comes from the way you raised or whatever the case may be. Whereas
Mhm.
though they say boys can't cry, or they always say men cheat. So it's like you kind of get caught up in what everybody always say that you start to realize that things are changing. Like it's men out here that what I'm saying that can do right. It's men out
Mhm.
here that's in touch with their feelings. It's men out here that's old school style. Like they still carry it a certain type of way. And
Mhm.
I feel
Mhm.
like they don't allow men to be a variety. It's like they the same way women fight for equality and you to be seen a certain type of way. If a
Mhm.
man fight for the same type of thing, it's like why you doing that? Like you know what I'm saying? You get down, you look down upon
Mhm.
just wanting to be like a regular person. Like we kind of get the idea of men and women being men and women and forget that we still human.
Right.
Like I'm
Right.
I'm a man. If my feelings hurt, I should be able to say my feelings hurt.
Right.
Not looked at a certain type of way. Or if you got guys that don't take care of their responsibilities, all right, those guys don't take care of their responsibilities. All right, it's guys that do. So when you
Mhm.
don't when you don't bring on all sides of people, you gonna kind of get stuck in that line of
Mhm.
This how it is, and it, it's the same
Mhm.
way with women, where they take some of the negative things about women and run with that. Like we got to look at it like at the end of the day, we are human.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Right. So one of the things that Desi and I spoke about as well is mental health. And he's saying, like, no matter how much you're crying on the inside, the people always need you to make them laugh, or, they always see you a certain type of way. Has there been times during your journey that your mental health was challenged? And if it was, how did you bring yourself back to a place where you could, still maintain who you are and also make, your public laugh?
Like I got a joke about dealing with a breakup. Like the joke got realness to it, and at the
Mhm.
time I was going through it. I'm like, why, Lord, why me? You know what I'm saying? I'm hurting,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you going through your pains, and then you got an outlet of doing comedy where you can be like, well, the type person I am, I like to find a humor in things. So I just started to take the traumas of my life and finding jokes about it and making it funny, whereas though it kind of lightened the spirit. Like a lot of the jokes I say about myself got some realness to it.
Mhm.
Whereas though I just found a way to make it funny. So it's like in that space, yeah, I was dealing with it.
Mhm.
And the best way for me to deal with it is to be like, all right, what's funny about it? Like let me take myself out of this and look at the situation and let me
Mhm.
see what's funny about it. So when I find something funny, I can appreciate it because I'm not just looking at it and laughing at somebody else's pain.
Mhm.
It's my pain too. So I understand like why people gonna relate to it. Cause I know if
Right.
I'm going through it, somebody else going through it. So
Right.
if I can look at it and then be like, yo, I was tripping at this moment. That was but that,
Mhm.
that was a little funny. Now when I say it on stage, I'm not hurt about it no more because I'm able to get it off my chest and deal with it. But I
Mhm.
also know that it's people in the audience that's either dealt with the same exact things or dealing with it. So it's like a catch 22. Like you kind of like we healing together sometimes. Like
Right.
I'm healing
Right.
by saying it, you healing by hearing it. We all laughing, and then we just keep it moving.
So being on the road, I'm pretty sure you've been in rooms with, people. Is there anyone that you've been in a room with that you would love to work with and you haven't yet?
That I haven't worked with,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know because usually if I'm in the room with somebody, I'm usually working with them, so I
Mhm.
don't know. It's people that I want to work with that I haven't worked with that I haven't been in the room with, but majority of
Okay.
the time
And
is
who are those people?
uh I definitely want to do some stuff with like the 85 South, just the Chico Beans. Well, I guess that's kind of one of them because I was in the room with them, but I ain't really get to
Mhm.
work with them. So like Chico Bean, Carlos Miller, DC, like them three right there. Like I feel like they put me in the mind of me, Chat, and Desi sometimes. Like we on the road together. We
Mhm.
move around. You know what I'm saying. So I kind of mirror how they go do things is the same way we
Mhm.
go do things. So it's like it just feel like it'll be a good time though.
So besides Desi, is it anyone from the city that inspired you as well besides Desi and G? Was there anybody else?
Oh, Larry Lancaster,
Mhm.
Timmy Hall, who else? It's a lot because I'm a type person like Dave Butler. Like I'm a type person
Mhm.
where though I enjoy comedy. So if you can make me laugh, I'm a fan. Like I don't care. Like I'm a
Mhm.
fan of. I like to laugh just as much as I like to make people laugh. So if I'm laughing at you, I'm a fan. Like and I don't got no problem with telling you I'm a fan. Like I'm cool with it.
So, and I also had an interview with Smurf, and we did this event in regards to Baltimore. So I just want to do three things just to be, cute. So I'm gonna start with crabs or crab cakes.
Crab cakes.
Why do y'all keep saying that? Why?
Listen, I just learned how to eat crabs. I just learned how to eat crabs, and I feel like it's too much work and the reward it's not enough big of a reward. No, I'm good. Just
And
give
I
me the
said
straight
the and I said the opposite. I told him the same thing. I said I'd rather a crab than a crab cake because it's just something I know, and I know it's the same meat. but it's just something about a crab cake that I
Uh,
just can't get with.
what? Nah. What? I ain't got to do no work. It's just all the crab. We eating crabs to get to the meat. So you telling me you gonna take all the work out of it for me? Yeah, give me the crab cake. Give me the crab cake.
Okay, so in regards to a chicken box, Western fries or regular fries?
I'm a Western fried guy myself. I'm a Western. I'm a-
Okay. And lastly, Rita's or 7-Eleven, as far as the snowball and the dice.
Now one of them. I don't know. You gotta get a different question. Who? How you comparing 7-Eleven to a Slurpee? You comparing a
Because
Slurpee to some Raiders?
I don't like Rita's. So I rather 7-Eleven Slurpee.
I don't know. They both on the same level to me. Like I ain't lose my mind over a Slurpee, and I'm damn sure ain't losing my mind over no Readers. Like
Okay.
I just started eating
So
Readers. My hood ain't had no Readers, so I wasn't like. You should say
raw.
a snowball or Readers.
Okay. So a snowball or Rita's.
Snowball, easy.
Okay. Well, what about Wawa or Royal Farm?
I don't know. Both of them I steal from, so it don't make a difference to me. I don't pay for I don't pay for shit out of that. What it up? Only thing I pay for is gas. That's the only thing I pay for. And I only pay for that because I can have so it look like I'm paying for something.
So wait a minute.
I
You can
don't pay.
steal
I
chicken out of.
no. All right. I might gotta pay for the chicken. Between chicken and gas is the only thing I pay for out of any one of them places. Because everything else is mine. Like I walk up to I walk straight. Listen, I be going up to the thing. I had like 2 sodas, some chips, some candy, and all I scan is whatever the receipt is I pay for my food, and I just walk out. I never pay for nothing that I don't never pay for nothing at Roy Farms. Never. And I don't care
Oh.
if they watching. I'm acting just like I'm right. My tab be $50. I paid $10 and got $50 worth of stuff. So I love both of
Oh
them.
God. Whew. Okay. So I'm not playing with you no more with that segment. We're done with that.
I'm
Okay.
just
So
you listen. You see what it said. I don't know if you seen the clip of the coworker homies, but nigga, I'm stealing.
I saw that. I saw
I'm
that.
I go there any I steal from work in Royal Farms. I don't steal from people. Like I ain't gonna like if I come over your house, I ain't gonna touch nothing. You can leave money around me, I ain't gonna touch it. But if we go to work, I'm stealing.
But why would you your mother got you that job. So
Right.
why would
I
you
didn't ask for it.
steal?
I didn't ask for that job. I didn't say, Ma, could you get me a job here? No, I didn't ask for this job. And on top of that, I was laughing because my mother just found out about it. So she never knew about this because it wasn't like we was working together. I just had the inside. I was the inside man. I knew somebody on the inside, so I
So
knew how to. I was.
did you make more money at the actual job or your side hustle?
It was about the same. My checks was looking about the same because I really wasn't working that much, but
Mm-hmm.
I was making up for it in school. Everybody knew me. I was taking orders. Like, what you need? I was stealing pampers for my brother, all type of stuff. Broom. I stole. I was stealing laundry detergent, cigarettes. I was getting it in. I was doing pretty. I wasn't doing too bad for myself.
Well, so when your mother found out, what did she say?
She was a little mad because she was security. This is this is the thing, right? She's security, so like when they do the count of like the loss in the store,
Mm-hmm.
I was I was the cause of that. So when they would look at her, when they look at her numbers of the strength, like like how much stuff is being stored out of the store,
Mm-hmm.
I was the biggest culprit. I was the corporate behind all that. So I don't know. She wasn't that happy about me telling everybody anyway. She was like, "Why would you tell people I was working there too?" I was like, "Cause you was. I was just being honest. Like just cause I still don't mean I ain't an honest person. Everybody still can work.
That you know how that doesn't sound right. Just because I steal doesn't mean
I'm just
that
letting you.
I'm not
Hey,
an
listen.
honest person.
It's all about how you decipher it. I'm honestly telling you. Listen. I was working the truck, so I was the guy that was breaking down the truck and all that.
Hmm.
And you know how they used to have like the music. They used to have CDs. I had the Usher when Usher first came out with the Burn and all that. I had that. I had the Mariah Carey. I had CD players, condoms, batteries, whatever you need. I had it. I had it. I did pretty good for myself.
You know what? I'm not okay. So we're gonna wrap up shortly. But if there was any piece of advice that Pudge had to offer somebody in regards to finding a dream and chasing it, what would you say to that person?
I would say I don't want to be too like everybody say stay consistent, keep doing it. I say enjoy it, and
Hmm.
that's the most important part because
Hmm.
you get like you people be because it was times where people were like nah, just get a regular job or it ain't making enough money to do this. And I looked at it like this: if I gotta get up every day and go do something, I'd rather go do something I love. So if you got a dream and life is short, like you not promised tomorrow.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if I'm going to spend my time here on earth, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to enjoy it the way I want. I'm going to chase what I want to chase because even when it get bad, it's still not as bad as it could be because I'm doing what I love to do. So,
Right, right. And let everybody know that's watching what you got going on.
all right. So like you said, we got the Coworker Homie podcast coming out. That we got what the launch party is March the 17th at the port. Um, we got Check Please. Check Please is still coming soon.
Hmm. Hmm.
I got to talk to Alvin. He putting out all these other movies. Alvin Gray, shout out to Alvin Gray. He done put out the lady got shot in the hill, the rapper that got shot in the hill, the baby that the nurse that sang the baby by the road. He that you know what I'm saying. He put all that together. He also did Check Please,
Hmm.
and you can catch me on the road with Desi, and that's probably it right about now.
Will you are you coming to Atlanta?
I don't know. I don't know. That's
Okay.
still it's still up in the air on that one.
Okay. So hopefully you come so I can see you because I'll be there. Um, and again, I like to also say congratulations on everything that you're doing. And I can, I'm really happy that y'all are doing this because you all are representing the city well. How can we follow you on social media?
Pudge Rozay, all social medias. Pudgezay. I got practice saying it because when I be saying it on the road, they be like, "What? What did he say?"
Because you be
So
like Pudge.
yeah, I be like Pudge. They be like Pudge. So I be like, it's Pudge. It's like fudge, but with a P.
Hmm.
Rose Rozay. So yeah, and I want to also shout you out on this. I love what you're doing. I'm always the type person that love to support people that's starting things up like this, especially when they're from the city, and just anything in general. Because I always look at it like you support somebody when they first start out, so when they blow up, you ain't gotta be the
Hmm.
guy be like I was going to look out or I been knew about her. No support. That's
Thank you
it don't
so
hurt.
much. Thank you. And I really do appreciate that because, like I said, I'm trying to change the narrative here, especially when it comes to y'all. Women do great things as well. Don't ever get it twisted.
Right.
But I feel like we do not spend enough time on what y'all do. And there are tons of men out here that are just awesome. So, and we're not gonna stick the negatives, narrative on all of them because it's
Right.
some that do and some that
And
don't.
it don't. Yep.
Yep.
I
So
can respect that.
again, thank you so much. And I do appreciate you sitting down having this conversation with me. And
No
hopefully
problem at
I'll
all.
see you. If not, then of course I follow you and I'm following everything y'all do. I'll be probably popping up in the city soon to support some of y'all events as well.
All
So
right.
thank you once again.
All right. Thank you.
All right. And thank you everyone else for joining me tonight. Thank you again to Pudge. Y'all have a great rest of the evening and I will see you next week. Hey y'all, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode of the What a Man podcast. Would you like to see more of Pudge? Well, you can. Just check him out each and every Monday at 8 o'clock on YouTube, along with comedian Desi and Chap Funny for the Co-Worker Homies podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bye.
Coming to the stage. Coming to the stage.